Welcome everyone to the MMOs.com podcast, episode 188 here. Altai, joined this week by
Omer.
All right. Took another hiatus last week, but we are back now. Episode 188. A lot on the plate. Any special place to begin, Omer?
Yeah, we'll start with censorship. A fun topic, all right? Not so much related to MMOs too much nowadays, but a little bit. Because again, we talked a few weeks ago about Final Fantasy XIV's new TOS, where they basically said if you... The wording was really funny. It was like if you unilaterally disagree, if you unilaterally reject someone's opinion, that's now considered a bannable offense. But and there's been this story about with Sony's headquarters, for example. Sony's like is now they moved their their headquarters, one of their offices to America, where they're like to make their stuff more like appeal to Americans and like more censorship, less like sexual stuff. There's an article recently on GameIndustry.biz where actually how the Me Too movement is actually affecting Sony and on their actual game development. Where now apparently a lot of developers at Sony are afraid to put certain sexual things in their games and their products because they're afraid of backlash of the Me Too movement. And I was mentioning in the pregame actually that you and me watched the movie this last week called Glengarry Glen Ross with Al Pacino, Alec Baldwin, a bunch of other famous actors from the 90s. And in the movie, there's a scene where they drop the F-bomb. And I guess the F-got bomb. I don't want to say it on here. I don't want to get banned. And it really caught me off guard because like you and me have been kind of playing a lot more modern games, watching a lot more recent movies, right? So hearing this scene where Alec Baldwin just drops like this anti-gay slur, just like really loud with so much passion, I was like, whoa. And like I was shook. You just don't see that anymore. So it reminded me like, wow, we just don't have like games and stuff that does this anymore. Like this is such a taboo topic now. And I think you've done right. Like you can still deliver, impact in the movie. And I think that scene, for example, was done really well in the movie. So it wasn't like anti-gay or anything. It fit the scene in the movie. But now artistic freedoms, Altai. Artistic freedoms are under attack.
It is. And the issue here is the monoculture. And the lovely thing here is they're trying to project inclusiveness, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually a very exclusionary concept because this kind of relates to it, okay? Here, how about this? What do you think of this more? So this Twitch streamer, this lady, she's a Lithuanian, okay? Mm-hmm. She dressed like that black chick from Apex Legends, right?
Okay.
She got banned on Twitch.
What? Wait, banned?
Yeah, because she put some black paint on her skin. Now, in America, there's some context here of why that's racist, right? Because you had white actors playing black people in the past, right? But in Lithuania, they didn't enslave any black people. So why the hell can a Lithuanian girl put on black paint?
Hold on. Even like with blackface in America, I mean, there's a history for this, right? Like, I don't. Was it done with any kind of racist intent?
On her case, no. She had no clue. In America, you can't.
Of course, her intentions are obviously not racist, right? But like even with American film, like, when did blackface stop being used in American film? And I don't think it was used like as a form of racism.
Well, it was because they specifically did not want black people in movies. So instead of a black actor, they would use a white actor painted black because they didn't want a black person in like Hollywood movies, like or any movie.
Interesting.
So now that context doesn't exist in Lithuania. All right. Mm-hmm. So it's actually the American SJWs are the most racist people on the planet because they're imposing America's cultural context and history on people all over the world, even though they don't have this baggage that we have on this case.
I don't see the problem though. Like just if you're trying to cosplay as a fictional character,
but again,
you're not like it's not exclusionary at all. The way you described American
it's an
Hollywood.
Echo. Well, yeah, but okay. So because of that racist background in America. Any blackface in America echoes that history. But like I said, now we can argue about that. Should blackface in America today be allowed? I don't know. We can go back and forth on that. Whatever. Okay.
I say sure. Why
you
not?
say sure. Whatever. Okay. That's a different argument than the one I'm having here. Mm-hmm. In her country, you can argue it. She should be able to wear it. If a black person in America can wear a blonde wig and cosplay as a blonde person, there's no reason why this lady can't cosplay as a black person, right? But
it makes no sense.
It's just us. It's America imposing, or SJWs in America imposing their culture and context on the rest of the world.
This actually surprised me. I didn't think you'd get banned for this. Like if she was trying to be racist, yeah, right. Like if you're like, hey, look at me, I'm black, I'm doing all this bad, silly stuff, right? Like if you want to like take it and make it racist, you can. But she was cosplaying a pretty popular character in arguably one of the most popular games right now. I don't know. Unless there's more context here that we're missing. It just seems like pretty ridiculous that this is enough to get our ban. I mean, people cosplay as like Klingons. They cosplay as like aliens with like orange skin from that Disney movie, whatever it's called, Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff, right? Like there are people who cosplay as like anime characters and stuff like, but I don't know. This is really odd.
Yeah, so there's that. Anyway, so back to the Sony thing. So same thing. So since, like you said, Japan moved the Sony headquarters, excuse me, the PlayStation headquarters of Sony to America. So now globally, all developers writing for PlayStation have to abide by the American monoculture.
And again, this is really starting to show itself. You know, in Twitch, people getting banned for this. And again, we mentioned when Final Fantasy 14 revised their their acceptable use policies. And the thing here that caught me most off guard is Control F unilateral there. Expressions that unilaterally reject another person's opinion in Final Fantasy 14 is now considered bannable. This is considered an offensive expression. How is it offensive to tell somebody, maybe the healer shouldn't be a tank? If the guy's like, yo, I'm a healer, I'm gonna play tank, I got this, bro. If you go like, you know what, that's a bad idea. I'm gonna reject this idea, and apparently that's considered offensive expression now. And it just feels like we can't communicate or disagree without it becoming offensive now, Like, when did being upset ever become, like, offensive in and of itself? Like, you could have a conversation with somebody and get like, a little upset. Like, that shouldn't be offensive in and of itself.
Well, yeah, I don't know what to say. What's offensive and not is determined by every local culture, right?
I mean, you've mentioned the drama to me with, with Discord. That there was some Discord drama with some of the Discord admins, for example, being very pro furry stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And for example, like if you guys don't already know this, I think lolly content on Discord is heavily moderated and bannable. If you post lolly hentai, for example, right, which is perfectly legal. There's lolly perfectly legal, right? UN is always trying to fight that. We gotta fight back, boys. But like you can find all over the internet right now. But Discord doesn't want it anywhere on their platform. However, regular porn stuff is all okay. But they've decided that lolly hentai is where they draw the line. And several of the Discord safety and trust team members are actually into something called furry, and they're the cub porn. So maybe you can explain that all.
Right. So cub fur, is just a lolly version of furry. So a young fox person would be a cub art. Now, I think it's all degenerate nonsense and burn it all down. But
whoa, no.
Omar,
protect the lollies.
So
the lollies are not. They're cartoon. They're drawn. The cubs are people dressing up, and they're underage.
I think what people are taking issue with it, and the reactionaries like me are taking issue with the inconsistency and hypocrisy. Okay, so if you're gonna ban lolly, which I'm okay with doing, by the way, you gotta also ban this cub crap. Similarly, if you're gonna ban blackface, okay, I'm not for or against banning blackface. But if you're going to do it, you have to also ban black people from wearing blonde wigs, right? Because that's just equally, appropriation. Or if white people can't wear kimonos, right, then Japanese people can't wear a suit and tie. As long as you keep it consistent, right, I'm okay with you. But when you're inconsistent...
Do people actually get upset about, like, white people wearing, like, kimonos?
Yes, some people do.
That's a thing?
That's a thing, yes.
Interesting. Is it like a thing in the real world or just, like, on
Twitter? No, the real world. Like, there was, like, some... Vogue or one of those fashion magazines had a white lady in a kimono, and she got lampooned. She had to apologize and cry.
What?
Yeah.
That's so weird. Again, like you said, don't like every Asian country wear suits, and they got that from the British and the Americans?
Yeah.
Okay, so why are they okay? Why can they wear suits and we can't wear kimonos?
Well, I mean,
I don't get it.
It's just power struggle between people.
I don't know. This is some real wonky shit.
Anyway,
it just seems the internet is so sanitized.
The inconsistency is what aggravates, I think, certain reactionary corners like of the internet. Not necessarily a uniform standard, however strict, can be respected. But an ununiform standard is when you have people fighting back.
You can also feel that's kind of unfair too. At least like if it's targeting one thing but not something else, they're kind of the same thing. Yeah, I can see people getting super upset about that.
But that's the way it is, boys. And I don't think it's going anywhere. So Twitch is going to ban you if you put on some shitty... First of all, this cosplay is pretty bad. And second of all, she only had 160 viewers. It's so sad that she got fan hammered for this. I think it was a 30-day ban, I think. Yeah, 30-day ban.
Do you think this is related? Like this internet being sanitized, right? Is related to difficulty in video games trending easier? and being more accessible? Do you think there's a correlation here? Do you think these are in the same ballpark?
Yes, I do.
The same people that want games to be easy and inclusive are the same ones that are all doing this. There's overlap there, you think?
I do. But that's a little trickier because gaming, for example, what's it called? Sekiro, died twice. It sold well, so it did well. The market has spoken.
It did really well,
despite the chatter. So I think a lot of it is just chatter. I don't really care about the difficulty argument. I care more about this. This is somebody being deplatformed for putting on some brown shit on their face. All right, this is worse, I think, than the easy talk, the easy game mode talk.
I don't know, Altai. The easy talk is hurting the youth generation, Altai. Kids today are playing Yoshi's Yarn Land.
Kids today are playing on their phone. All right, no kids got fucking games.
Kids are playing. Yes, they have Switches. Kids play Switch games. Kids
fucking 40-year-old Nintendo nerds have Switches. All right.
No. Yes, 40-year-old Nintendo nerds also have Switches, but people our age buy their kids Switches. So a lot of young kids play the new Yoshi game, and the new Yoshi game's got a brain dead mode.
Yeah, like 2 kids are playing Yoshi.
Basically, a brain dead mode and like an easy, like impossible to die, and like one step up from that is like you have to really try to lose. Yeah. So kids these days are growing up playing those games with those difficulty options.
No, I don't believe you, man.
We were young all night. We were playing Mega Man X.
First of all, look, kids today are playing Fortnite, which by the way, it's not an easy game.
Fortnite is good. Yeah. Any PvP game like that is great. Yeah, there's no PvE. Anyone under the age of 8 is not playing Fortnite.
Yeah, they're playing Roblox.
No, they're not. They are. If you're under the age of 8, your parents aren't letting you play online multiplayer games.
They don't know. Your kids are just on your iPad going boop, 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 boop.
Beep, boop. No, come on. Obviously, because you could stumble on porn too. I feel like you can have parental controls and stuff.
Oh, they're watching porn. That's like parental controls, please.
Yeah, after you're like 10, you can get past the parental controls. I don't think people under the age of 8 are playing Fortnite.
How many parents do you think know how to set up parental controls?
I don't know, but
none.
I imagine parents, until at least the age of 10, they supervise their kids' use.
So, did our parents supervise our use?
We didn't even have a PC till we were 10, Altai. 11.
Well,
so, indirectly.
Do you think they would have?
I don't know.
There's no way. There's no way, Omar. The percent of parents who supervise their kids at all is like at all is like 10%. 90% of kids are just stumbling into whatever they're stumbling into. No checks.
No. Slade, for example, gives us his personal example that he's a parent and he sets up whatever he needs to. You're crazy. So again, Altai, my point, I'm not saying that the kids can't get past the filters. I'm just saying if you're under the age of 8, I don't think much of Fortnite players or anyone playing online games is going to be under the age of 8. I feel like a certain threshold is when you start playing online video games. Until then, you're playing offline games. You're playing, Nintendo games. You don't make that jump between like single player Nintendo games and like very basic like iPad games with like colors and stuff to like multiplayer games until like 10, 11, or 12.
Okay. Let's say you're right.
That's what I'm saying.
But okay. So I don't know. No, I'm not buying your argument that kids are intentionally playing easier games today or being fed initial easier games.
Kids are 100% being fed. Hold on, I'll tell you. If you have a kid, like you're gonna buy like a Switch game.
I'm not.
That is like
I'm not gonna buy.
They're not buying Xbox. Parents are not buying their 8-year-old Xbox or PS4.
They're buying them a $200 piece of shit Android tablet, giving him the tablet and saying, "Go to your room. I don't want to hear from you again until bedtime." And the kid, he just clicking.
The kid doesn't know how to use the tablet.
He's clicking random buttons. Sometimes he ends up on porn. He ends up on this. He ends up on that. He doesn't know what's going on.
I ain't buying.
These kids are not being supervised. I'm telling you, boys.
Kids are watching e-girls these days. Twitch is the place for kids to play PG-13 lap dances. There you go.
I was at a restaurant and there was a little kid, younger than 8, much younger than 8. He was watching the Finger Family crap. And then one.
Yes, because their parents put that on for them and leave it there on autoplay.
Yeah, and then God knows what they're seeing. They're seeing like Spider-Man beheading Sonic the Hedgehog.
Those are rare. Usually they're pretty innocent nonsense. All right.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so it's on autoplay, but he's not watching porn. All right, he's not playing online multiplayer PvP games. Look, if kids were playing if people under the age of 8 were playing Fortnite, yeah, that's good because you're playing against other people. Any game that matches you against other players, I think is good for your development. You get competitive. But if you're playing a game like Kirby's Epic Yarn, you're playing the new Yoshi game on the Switch, games that are just like brain dead easy.
I'm amazed you think that the average kid is playing those games rather than what I'm saying.
They are.
Okay.
They 100% are. Look, there's a gap between watching Finger Family videos on their iPads. Yes, that happens too, right? Or maybe some really basic iPad games. And then there's like the Switch games and the Nintendo games. And then after that, full blown mobile and full blown like Fortnite.
Okay. And we got to do some research on this after the podcast for next time. But okay, 100%. Now, Steve, you agree or disagree with me? 100% of kids, right, are playing, are doing what I'm saying. The Android games and clicking random shit, right? Now, maybe 10% of kids are doing what you're saying, playing Kirby's Epic Yarn. They don't have these dedicated devices. These 8-year-olds don't have. Even when we were an exception. We got a SNES at a very young age, right? The average, we grew up with people who never owned consoles. Remember that? Yeah. The average 8-year-old or younger does not have a dedicated gaming machine. He has whatever device the parent hands the kid to shut him up when they're in a restaurant. That's his window into the world.
Okay, but let's also his window to the world until they start playing online multiplayer games, right? Their window to the world.
We don't know what they're playing. They're clicking random shit. Sometimes they're online, sometimes they're not.
Whatever they're playing, if they're not playing a multiplayer game,
they could be playing Roblox. They could be playing. Who knows what they're playing? They're clicking random shit.
Roblox, that's good too. Roblox can. I think games like Roblox are really good. So we can see Roblox in the background right now. Roblox monthly active users surpass 90 million.
That's bigger than League of Legends, boys.
That is bigger than League of Legends, boys. You heard on the MMOs.com podcast. Roblox is a bigger game today than League of Legends is. So League of Legends peaked, I think, in 2016 or 2017 with when they advertised 100 million users, and since then their revenues are down about 25%. So if their player base is down a similar amount, they're down to 75 million players, while Roblox up to 90 million, matching Minecraft's figures. So both Minecraft and Roblox are neck and neck in terms of popularity. And this goes back to what I've been saying for a long time, that user-created content in MMOs and online games is the future. And Roblox is actually the best example of how successful user-created content can be.
Yeah, and the beauty of Roblox is it's a pretty old game. You know, you got to give it to the developers for keeping it relevant, keeping it fresh, keeping it going. It came out in 2006. I bet the average kid playing this game wasn't even born when the game came out. Isn't that an interesting concept there?
But like, it's amazing what user-created content in Roblox looks like. So maybe just go on like YouTube, for example, and search like Roblox Counter-Strike and see what comes up. Altai, show us what Roblox Counter-Strike looks like. Right. People recreate very popular games on Roblox. I mean, obviously there's these weird sex games too on there, which are unusually popular sometimes. But there's stuff like Mafia on there. There's like, there's like
talks too much. Let's go here.
There's like, you find like remakes of Battlefield on there where you can pick like from multiple classes. Like you can actually play, the guns are actually copied like directly from like Counter. This is, you play on Dust 2 right there, you know? Like it looks beautiful and it actually works really well. People have recreated Counter-Strike, Battlefield. They've recreated hide-and-seek style games. They've recreated like, I don't know, Roblox I think is awesome. There's so much you can do with it.
Yeah, it's
Prison Break style
cool
games.
And they're not even out in Asia yet, so I think they have a long way to go to grow. How they hit 90 million was with localizing into European languages like German, French, Portuguese. So once they localize into the East Asian languages, I think they can go much higher than their current 90 million players.
Like this is like the ultimate like game for kids too, because from one, it just how do you compete with Roblox? Like when the entire community is like, obviously not the entire community. When people are creating content for the game, more stuff will come out for the game than what any individual developer can do. This open platform of like user created content, I think, is unbelievable. I think it's the reason YouTube remains extremely successful. I think the amount of hours watched on YouTube, for example, I think will demolish the number of hours watched on Netflix or CBS or HBO or any like professional, like, because obviously Game of Thrones is huge and it got 16 million viewers on the first day, which was like yesterday, right? But the sheer volume of YouTube content is you can't compete with that. Most of it is shit, but some will be great.
Yes, yeah. It depends on the metrics we're using. I see no value in an 8-year-old staring at a Roblox video. You do, okay? Like I don't think the monetizable value of me staring at a HBO show for an hour is the same as an 8-year-old staring at this for an hour.
I think it is. I think if you look at the YouTube valuations, I think we looked at this before. YouTube standalone valuation, I don't think it was quite as high as Netflix, but like YouTube in 2018, Morgan Stanley like $160 billion. Obviously, Netflix is bigger. I think Netflix is up to no, they're about neck and neck. Altai. Netflix is worth $156 billion today,
right? And
YouTube is about 160. Right. So again, it fluctuates day to day based on the market.
But we both agree that YouTube gets much more views, hours, and individual views.
Yeah.
Right. So then, what I would say is true. A single hour of viewing time on Netflix is worth more than an hour of view time on.
Yeah, you can charge more for it. Yeah, of course. Because then there's so much crap content on.
That was my point. That was my point. An hour of viewing YouTube is not worth the same as an hour of viewing
also,
time on Netflix.
I don't think the gap will shrink. You have to look at like how YouTube monetizes. YouTube can't capture all the value they create. For example, like all the channels that create content with Patreon, like Google and YouTube can't really capture that, right? Whereas Netflix, everything on
No,
Netflix,
they
you know,
can.
it's
I mean,
going
there's a
through.
button now called Join. You can subscribe to people right on.
Yeah,
YouTube.
but everyone's using Patreon. Come on, who's using the join option on there? Come on.
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. I think it's grown. I don't know.
But beyond like these FPS games on Roblox, you can play like Mario Kart games. There's just so many different kinds of games you can play on there. And I'm still blown away that we haven't seen an MMORPG trying implementing this. Like WoW or Final Fantasy 14 I mean, again, the problem is you have to design your game from the ground up with this
dual
in mind.
universe
kind
is trying, but I don't know if they're gonna pull it off.
like, how do you imagine just people? I don't know. It blows me away that no one's done this because it just seems like so obvious almost because you just have so much more stuff to do. If they had these built into the game, I mean, even Steam at least has been doing it to a degree with the Steam Workshop, right? The Steam Workshop, I think, is a godsend for a lot of these games. You have games like Risk of Rain that came out recently. They have Steam Workshop support. People can make mods for it. You know, Slay the Spire, for example, has mod support to it. And because of the mod support, the game only has like 3 playable characters. I mean, they're all really well designed, well balanced, fun. But with the mod support, all of a sudden you went from 3 to like 10 playable characters, and new ones are coming out all the time. New cards, new changes. Like that mod support, a game has to build itself with the mod support in mind, with the user created content in mind, and it's going to be. That's the next frontier, boys, for MMORPGs.
Well,
you know, Stadia said they were going to do it, but we don't know.
Well, speaking of that, Peria Chronicles, we actually have an update, kind of, on...
Peria Chronicles, what I meant. That's yeah.
So Peria Chronicles is actually not dead. Oh, it's all we know. People are kind of inflating what this means. They updated their website with a splash screen.
Ooh.
So it's something, right? And there's a Facebook update. It does mean something, but it doesn't mean a lot. I think people... It kind of impressed me how much support this game still has, or following this game has, because with such a little update, they got a lot of people, excited. So coming soon.
Because people read that this game was gonna be a little bit different. You know, they want to do some of the user created content. Like those ideas are interesting, and I think people realize that.
This is it, boys.
And MMORPG, look, and MMORPG does that implements these ideas from the ground up correctly. I really do think it'll beat WoW. And you will not. I guarantee you today, no one will beat WoW by just making another WoW clone that's better. You can't make a WoW clone that's better. The best WoW clone we have, boys, is Final Fantasy 14. All right, Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn, just basically copied the staples of WoW and did it with a different art style and some different flair to it. But it's the same theme park-like experience. Okay, you can't beat WoW with just another MMORPG that follows the same formula. It's not going to happen. WoW has perfected that formula. The only thing that can beat it is something radically different.
Well, I think we're gonna have to keep waiting for that.
I don't know if Peria Chronicles will be that game. I'm hoping it is, but I'm not super optimistic because it's kind of like this no-name game at this point. Really, it looks beautiful though. I do like the art style, and we really haven't seen too much about the game anyway. And I think that they've already they went to like numerous like restructurings on how they're going to design the game. So like what their vision is today isn't so obvious anyway.
I think the technology's not there. That's why. So when they initially released this, the trailer you guys are seeing initially came out in G-Star 2016, so 3 years ago, and I just don't think the tech was there. So hopefully, maybe now, with how much Epic has been updating the engine, Unreal Engine, with Fortnite success, maybe actually I don't even know what engine this is using, but hopefully it's something modern, not like Unreal 3 or something.
I don't buy that the engine is not there. I mean, I think we have the tech.
I don't think we do.
If you have games like Minecraft having MMORPGs, like Windcraft server, I mean, and Minecraft is not like built for MMORPGs, right? It was all modded to do it. And you have Roblox having like MMORPG style games in Roblox. I think you can make an MMORPG from the ground up with that in mind. It has to be designed with MMORPG in mind, and you have all the toolkits built in. I think it can work. You can even have like some levels of if you don't go on like full blown user created content, you have like some levels of like mod approval and stuff. So, like, I don't know. We've seen the first implementation in Neverwinter and Star Trek Online for the Foundry. I thought was awesome. Like the things, what happened with the Foundry, the reason it failed, I think is. Once it was implemented, it really never got updated. I think the guys that made it quit, and then that's the reason they shut off the Foundry. Like the guys that made the Foundry, who wrote the code for it, just quit years ago, and they had no idea how to update it or run the Foundry system, and that's why it shut down. And if that was nurtured and that was the game, if that was their focus from the get-go, the Foundry could have been an amazing feature in Neverwinter or Star Trek Online, and whatever MMORPG does it. I mean, that's just one implementation of it too, and Neverwinter and Star Trek Online weren't that popular. Like. Yeah, they have a couple thousand people playing online. Right? They really were never that big. And despite never being that big, they had countless player-made adventures and dungeons that were really fun. If your game is more popular, obviously you'll get better content too, because you have a bigger player base to pull from. And Neverwinter and Star Trek Online had some amazing Foundry content, despite having a pretty small player base.
Yeah, I think I think we won't see this innovation you're talking about with the player-generated content in MMORPGs anytime soon. But I do like just like with Roblox and Minecraft, other genres, other games are gonna be implementing it more and more. And how it ties. So, two big announcements last week or a few weeks ago now. Google Stadia, which is their streaming thing, is one cool thing is how it integrates into YouTube. So imagine like Peria Chronicles was actually out, right? Okay. You're watching this trailer, right? And you know how sometimes on the bottom of a YouTube video in the description it says like this, the name of the game. You're gonna be able to click into that and just launch the game, like one click.
That'd be really cool. Because like if you can make that frictionless.
Yeah, awesome. Frictionless. So imagine Minecraft. You see someone playing Minecraft. You can literally click the button that says Minecraft, and it'll open in the Chrome browser. You'll start playing that game.
That's I think the biggest selling point for Stadia and any other cloud software. Because like imagine like sometimes when you play a game with a friend, like okay, I gotta go install it. Give me 20 minutes to install it on Steam. And then by the time 20 minutes are up, you gotta launch the game.
And God forbid it's not free to play, because then it stops right there. They're not gonna...
It stops right there. but then you got I gotta change the borderless window because by default my game runs on this shitty 1024 resolution. You gotta change your settings to what you want, and then you can finally start playing after like 20 minutes. But imagine being able to drop a link. Hey, let's play Portal 2. Drop a link, you click on it, we start playing instantly. Because you don't need to install. It just launches right away into the room. You can maybe set the lobby beforehand, and you just drop a link, and your friend clicks on it. Boom, you can start playing. That frictionless. That frictionless part of launching a game, I think, is the biggest selling point for Stadia, as well as any of these cloud gaming software. Yeah,
so I'm hopeful that at least I don't know, guys. Remember, Stadia's been getting a lot of hate. I don't know where you guys fall on this. So Silly Animals has my internet sucks, a no go for me. Okay, that's fair. A lot of people live outside the target market for the first rollout for Stadia, but I've been seeing a lot of like unwarranted attacks against Stadia. Like, oh, it's not going to work for everyone right away. Therefore, it's bad. Like, no new like the RTX 280, right? It costs like what, $1,500?
Yes,
it's not for everyone. Ray tracing. Okay, ray tracing is now available. 2019, we got ray tracing, right? But it's not for everyone. I don't have it. Omar has it actually, right? You have the 2080.
2080.
Yeah. So Omar has ray tracing. Congrats. I don't have it. I'm not complaining. These things take time. So when Stadia comes out, yeah, if you live in, Alabama on a boondocks farm somewhere, guess what? It's not for you. Okay, that's fine. Wait a couple of years, and then it'll get better and better. It'll be for you. But this concept...
It's not a good reason to attack it.
Yeah. So I see a lot of that. Like, oh, you guys, Google is not even thinking about the people who live in the middle of the forest. How dare they? Like what kind of entitlement do you have?
It adds like 50 extra milliseconds to delay. That's unplayable fucking garbage. It's going to completely ruin fighting games and FPS games. But like...
Yeah, so there's
the alternative for a lot of people. Like a lot of people are playing on like Wi-Fi anyway, and they're playing in suboptimal conditions. It's like Stadia is already like on par with a lot of consoles already. It is objectively going to be more latency than a PC with Ethernet, but if your comparison is like a console, it's already better or equivalent to a lot of consoles.
Right.
But yeah, it makes no sense to attack it because it's not perfect.
And the reason I brought that up is because, guys, don't forget the biggest games out there are things that don't require a lot of like either bandwidth or specs, like Roblox, Minecraft. Those things can definitely be streamed to you, And I'm gonna go on a limb here and say for most use cases, games like Minecraft don't really require precision latency. You can have a little bit of input lag and still be okay in Minecraft.
I think we mentioned this earlier too. Like games like CS:GO and FPS games have a long time suffered from hackers. I think Stadia and cloud gaming could actually reduce hackers a lot, because if you're playing on a cloud gaming platform, you can't run exes and hacks on the cloud machine. You can at most manipulate your own mouse. That's it. Those inputs on your own mouse. But if you can't hook into the actual exe, the programs, it's going to limit what hackers can do. And that might be the best way to control hacking. If you literally can't interact with the files or the exes in the game, that alone could stop hacking right away, which would be huge for FPS games.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of room for preventing hacking. And
server-side hacking is for the most part off the table. That's like decrypting the package, trying to get through the SH the 256 encryption. That's not going to happen.
And I'm not sure about this, but at least in America currently, hacking files on your side, right? The client side exe.
Hosts, yeah, it's always client side.
Also, it's not illegal. You can get banned from the TOS, right? But it's not illegal.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure though, if let's say Google or Microsoft have server side cloud hosting and you hack that might be that's a crime. You're gonna go to jail. So you're
literally infiltrating their servers.
Yeah, so
if you manipulate stuff on your own end, that's not illegal.
Yeah, so I think that will have a huge effect on limiting hacking. Only because even if it's possible to hack Google servers, you're literally hacking Google servers now, and that's gonna get you in a jail.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would say it's impossible. I think it would cut down the hacking quite a bit. So that's also a huge positive for Stadia and stuff. I mean, I'm not going to use Stadia because I have a good PC, but I see the huge benefits for a lot of people, and maybe in the future it'll be like really really good.
Yep. And another
Right.
smaller new announcement, but something that I'm hopeful for as a start, not an end, but a start. So Twitch has announced that they made their first game. It's called Twitch Sings. It's basically a karaoke game. The streamer, I guess, can sing songs, and the viewers can see them sing badly, but there's some interaction. So the chat can I guess nominate songs for you, vote how you did and stuff. So that perhaps, let's say Omar and I were both streaming like we are right now, and we were doing this karaoke thing. We could both be singing a song, and you guys can like vote who sang it better. Now this is kind of cheesy,
obviously.
Whatever. It's a little cheesy now. I'm sure the girls will love it. The e-girls on Twitch.
This was made for e-girls, I'll tell you. This feature was on the top of the list for the e-girls.
Sure. But
right.
It's a good place to begin. But I want to see more games integrate directly with Twitch or the streaming services. So there's a player, streamer, and viewer interaction. A beautiful way, we've mentioned before, is imagine a battle royale, like whether it's Apex Legends or a new one, where chat can literally use currency on Twitch, like bits, to drop packages for their favorite streamer, or like let's say someone's behind or something, and people can pool their bits together to like help them out in some way, or cause like an earthquake for the other guy. It'll be cheesy. It won't be like a professional tournament or anything, but I think there's a lot of potential in integrating the interactive aspect of these things.
That'd be really cool. I'm glad. I mean, it makes sense for them to do this because if you look at the streaming platforms in China, for example, like Twitch is actually relatively like undeveloped compared to like how far developed China is with their streaming platforms. They have like YY.com, Huya.com, Douyu.com. These three websites are all like individually each bigger than Twitch, and they've incorporated like so many like karaoke stuff. They've done a lot more with the platform than what Twitch has done. So Twitch, I think, with this karaoke thing, they just basically are catching up to China. And they're seeing what the Chinese websites have been doing for a long time. So it makes sense. It works. I mean, it's obviously not for me. I've actually never done karaoke in my life. What about you, Altai? Have you ever done karaoke?
Several times.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I was never there to see you do karaoke.
I do. You gotta get drunk, otherwise you're crazy if you're doing karaoke.
All right. Karaoke is only fun if you get drunk, boys.
Yeah. There was a pole. There's a strip pole. What do you call it? Stripper pole? In our. I was swinging on the pole while singing.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
If Altai and Rimute take off their glasses, they can pass off as boys in a boy band. I don't know, Messi. My skin is not smooth enough to be a K-pop male singer. All right, I need that smooth, delicate Korean skin. All right, if I had that, maybe. Altai, did you see this fun? This fun bit of news. Maybe not so fun, but I consider it pretty fun. So in the Division 2, Altai, there was graffiti on the wall, right? So like in the city, there's graffiti, right?
Okay. Whoa.
They vowed to take this down because it was offensive, which it kind of is, but it's pretty funny.
That's hilarious. In the game. I see it. Someone snuck that in there, huh?
That word in there, and the 7 is obviously supposed to be a T.
Oh, that's good.
They're referring to the cops as the F word over there.
Do you think?
But like, look, but I don't get it. Like, if you play a game like The Division, right? How can this be the problem? Like, if you're like literally shooting people, and some offensive term against the cops, like. Presumably, the graffiti was put up by like people that don't like the cops, all right, and insulting them by putting that there seems like such a non-issue. Like, well, I don't know. It seems odd.
Was it actually intentional, or did one guy just have a gag? Like, if you look at old Disney movies, I don't know if you guys knew this. There's a lot of phallic symbolism in old Disney movies because the animators snuck it in without telling the executives. Okay, so Google it. There's a whole like articles on this. So if this was something that like they wanted to actually make a statement like the cops are bad, down with the cops thing.
I don't know if it fits with.
I think one guy snuck it in like without telling anyone.
One guy probably did snuck it in, right? But why the outcry? Why is this not allowed? Like why is it like we can't have this in a game? In a game where you just shoot and murder people and kill people, you can't sneak in lead speak this offensive term.
I don't know. I don't know. SJWs, bro.
I'm sorry, like let you guys know, like people do yell obscenities at cops today. Like people will yell mean things in person at police officers. It happens.
Well, it's America.
So if you're trying to recreate that in a game,
well, in America, it's okay to shoot people. Just look at the news. It happens every day. So, but you can't call people slurs. That's where they draw the line in America. Every country has its own lines. In America, you go buy a rifle, assault rifle, walk into a school. It's you get a medal. But you call somebody the F word, now you're in trouble.
Now you're done. They take you out back and they shoot you. I don't know. I thought this is interesting though. This made it to the game. I think you're right though. It's probably a gag by one of the animators or something.
That's what I think.
But it just seems weird that this was like, oh, they had to apologize for this, and they pulled it. You know?
Maybe it was a plant, and to intentionally drum up
biggest
controversy. Controversy.
I think you'd always do that though, but I ain't buying it.
Maybe.
All right, I have one more fun story about OpenAI. Did you hear about that, Altai?
How they beat the Dota people?
Yeah, so there was a OpenAI, basically the AI Dota team beat the best team in that won TI last year.
OG.
And 2-0. Here's the game. You can just show. We talk a little bit about it, but
now I have the same complaints with this that I do with the StarCraft team at Google. Google's Deep, whatever it's called, beat some StarCraft 2 pros.
DeepMind, yeah.
Again, this was not in my opinion, a fair match. It was still
Why?
Well, they were the AI is restricted to 15 heroes. A pool of 15.
I think the pool of heroes is like 17 or more.
Okay, whatever, 15, 17, something like that. Okay, so it wasn't
Yes, it wasn't actual. But listen, the fact they've gotten here,
yeah.
Why could they easily get, not easily, in time, they'd be able to get all the heroes. They have 17 heroes playable, and it was a captain's draft mode, and they also disabled illusions. That was it.
Yeah, summons. And summons. So like no lone druid or whatever.
Yeah. But there was obviously restrictions. But if you look at the restrictions from previous OpenAI games, it's gotten so much better. In fact, this match where they won against the world's best Dota 2 team, if they played this version of OpenAI against the one they had in the TI 2018, so like a few months ago, like 6-8 months ago, whatever it was, this new version will win 99.9% of the time. Their new version has gotten so much better in a short period of time. It's insane. Even though the previous one would beat pro teams as well. Now it completely stomped, the world's best team under the condition there's only 17 heroes instead of the default 100 or whatever, and the illusion thing. Well, I think it's really impressive still.
Well, I have a little, I don't know if you heard about this part, Omar, but this weekend only, from Thursday, April 18th, and then until Sunday, April 21st, anybody can sign up to play against OpenAI in Dota 2. So, Omar,
let's get rolled, boys. Let's get rolled.
We should do it. See how we do.
We would get rolled, but yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, people are gonna find probably ways to cheese them and make them act the way they're not used to. That'd be kind of cool too.
Do you think? Okay, that's a good question. So the pros obviously lost.
Yeah.
But when they crowdsource the cheesing, will a group of 5
100%
find a way to beat it?
Yes.
All right.
That's the power of crowdsourcing too. This the fact that everyone's trying to brute force figure out like where the security holes are. It's like if you try finding security holes in your software, like until you release it and people are trying to hack it, that's when you really find out where the problems are. I think when this comes out, people are going to find cheese ways to beat it that like nobody really thought about. And this one guy's going to find the weirdest strat and it's going to work.
And there's one more cheat that was going on with OpenAI, guys. So when Google DeepMind plays games like Pong, when it beats games like Pong, it actually does what we do. It has like a camera and it watches the screen, right? So the inputs are actually what we're seeing. But unfortunately, that's not what they did with OpenAI. It wasn't like there was a camera watching the Dota screen. They actually plugged right into the API so that they had perfect information coming in. That means they didn't have to, scroll with the mouse. Everything.
They still had the fog of war, but they had information feeding directly.
They had the fog of war, but everything that was in their vision, like let's say like a tower could see something, they immediately saw it in a way that humans can't, right? Because we gotta scroll through the map, right? So they just got plugged in right from the API. So all the information, all the stats were coming in, like range, for example. Sometimes when I'm going to finish somebody off in Dota, I'll chase him to the tower, but I don't want to go to tower range. I'll stop right before tower range, right? But sometimes I won't get that right. I'll get hit by the tower anyway because I mistimed it.
But yeah, the game doesn't know. Like the AI didn't know it was playing Dota. It didn't know what these tower ranges meant.
That's not fair because no computer can ever know anything in that sense.
But this was supposed to be more like. But again, they did not write this to learn how to play Dota 2. They just ran like a million simulations. That was kind of the special sauce.
But that's everything. Every computer's like that. No computer knows what it's doing. So
yeah, but you could still write software for specific reasons.
It still won't know it's doing it though. Like
it doesn't. Fine. The OpenAI software was not written to play Dota 2. Whereas your Windows software is specific purposes.
No. But it was a trial and error thing. Yeah, all machine learning is like that.
The default AI in Dota 2 and StarCraft
it's scripted.
Is written
for scripted.
For StarCraft. This is not.
But that's true of all. So if you take a neural network, remember that video we watched with the faces?
Yeah.
It doesn't know it's categorizing faces either.
Yeah,
just categorizing inputs.
No. But that was made to categorize faces. That was a reason the software was created.
No, I don't think so.
I think it was. You just randomly plug in.
Yeah, it's an untrained machine learning. There's a term for it. I'm getting technical here, but
okay.
Yeah.
I thought it's still really really intense. That like I don't know, maybe in the future we'll have like a separate league for AI AI teams. Be kind of cool. 2 AI teams playing for the world championship. And what's cool is actually I watched most of the first game, and there are points in the game where the human team was actually winning. So it's not like it's impossible to beat them.
Yeah. And
they do play really well. But what's interesting too, like throughout the game, the team will like the AIs will be like, we have like a 90% chance of winning. Like towards the end of the game, like we have a 99.9% chance of winning.
And
it was all chat, be pretty good BM, but
the input into the API is I think the reason they chose Dota over League. I think that Dota has a much better backend because people at Valve know how to code, and people at League don't. So the League they couldn't because to play League, the computer had to actually look at the screen, like a human does, and there is no good way to hook into the backend of League. So that's why they chose this game. But still a huge accomplishment. It's getting closer and closer every year. Hopefully 1 year soon we'll be at, like, we can just log in. You and me can log into Dota 2 and click, play against OpenAI and see how we do.
All right, enough Western games all time. Let's look at the Koreans. Let's see what the Koreans are up to. All right. I linked you. The article came out this last week about Pearl Abyss and Black Desert Online. Still one of the bigger PC MMORPGs here in the West. They did about $1 billion in revenue since the game came out. So there's some nice charts you can see in their more recent earnings report from February. But Pearl Abyss tops $1 billion in revenue through Black Desert, and most of that revenue now is coming through good old mobile, as you probably guessed. Mobile gaming, boys.
Yeah, the mobile version of BDO is still not even out in the West, and it's already just in Korea, I believe, right? Is it even in China yet?
I think it's out in Japan as well, because it's actually one of the most popular MMORPGs in Japan, actually, mobile MMORPGs in Japan.
Yep.
So if you look at, let's see what slide. Look at page 6, boys. Look at page 6.
Here we go. Okay, here we go.
You can see revenue by platform, where you can see the big, how much more money mobile is making. So mobile launched in 2018 Q1, and literally on the first, quarter of launch, it made as much money as like the PC version. And look where it progressed since then. So look at the full year numbers for 2018, for example. The mobile version is like over 70% for the full year, probably in total, probably close to 70%, and PC is only 30%.
It is cool to see in Q4 of 2018 the PC made a comeback. Probably...
No, it didn't make that's a lie. And the only reason that's bullshit is because that's when they bought EVE Online. They're adding EVE Online's revenue to the PC, and there is no EVE Mobile yet. So there is no comeback in Q4. In fact, numbers are probably going even more towards mobile. Because if you look at that trend, 55, 73, 77, most likely if they didn't buy CCP for EVE Online, BDO Mobile would be even bigger. It'd be probably like 80% or something. So it probably averaged like 80%, some crazy amount.
That's interesting. All right.
The only reason it looks good is because the PC comeback is because they bought EVE. And you can see the impact of EVE Online actually on to the left of there, Black Desert versus EVE Online IP. They got an extra 12.9 billion Korean won from that. And what's interesting too, if you look at the chart above NAEU, right above revenue by region, prior to like it was 70% came from Korea. That was before, I think, look how much came from, it's so much, it's all Korea, right? But if you look at the beginning, if you look at 17.4Q rather, the first bar chart over there, that was before the mobile version launched, where they only had the PC version. And when they only had the PC version of Black Desert was one of those games that was more popular in the West than it was in Asia. In Korea, it was only 21%, and in Asia as a whole, it looks like 37%, the rest of Asia. In NA, Black Desert was 42% of their revenue. So Black Desert PC was really popular because of America and Europe. The game was a success in America and Europe. But the moment they launched the mobile version, look how much Korea jumped from being 21% to 63%. The only change there was the mobile version.
Yeah, and once again, you can see the EVE numbers. So North America went from 8% to 24%, and that's all because of the EVE purchase.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Good to see the numbers. And I was a little surprised when they announced that $1 billion franchise number. And even of that number, a lot of it is mobile now.
Yeah. Mobile gaming, boys. But they're working on other, apparently CCP, the Pearl Abyss guys are working on other games. So beyond just Black Desert. We do know actually Black Desert's launching in English this year. We don't know when. And even though it still has autoplay stuff, Black Desert Mobile, and obviously a lot of Westerners are not going to like it for the autoplay stuff, it has the best character creation you'll see in any mobile MMORPG, like hands down. No other mobile MMORPG even comes close. If you look at the character creation in like Lineage 2 Revolution or some jazz, there's like 4 hairstyles and 2 hair colors. It's a joke. It's like what we had in like 2008 with like Last Chaos or Shea. When those free-to-play MMORPGs were popping, They had like 3 hairstyles and like 2 hair colors. That's what most mobile MMORPGs are today. Even popular mobile MMORPGs have like 4 hair colors, and that's it. There's like no customization. Whereas Black Desert Mobile has, very similar to the Black Desert PC level of appearance customization, which is pretty cool.
That's what the Koreans are up to, Mark. But I want to show you what the Chinese are up to.
What are the Chinese up to all the time?
Now, this company, Netease, which, by the way, Blizzard decided to hand over the Diablo IP to.
Oh, I love Netease. Great company.
Has decided to make a new game, to rename a game. This game is called Buildtopia. And I want you to take a look, guys, at this game. It's coming out on
This is a totally original game.
Where did the idea for this game come from? How did Netease come up with the ideas and concept behind Buildtopia?
I think Netease just has a really talented group of developers on staff, and they're just really at the cutting edge of technological advancement and game design. All right, they're breaking boundaries. They're trying new things. All right, they're playing with ideas that those Westerners are just too afraid to do. All right, China is in the forefront of game design, and Buildtopia is where it's at. I've never seen a game this innovative. This art style.
Nothing like it.
And you'll see when they get on the ground just how much and how similar this is to Fortnite. It's honestly, I think your analogy with Blizzard giving their IP to Netease to make a mobile game, and your analogy with like them being a cuck or something, it makes sense after seeing this.
Definitely, you're literally giving the hen to the fox and saying, can you guard this hen for me?
Yeah. So, like, what's crazy is Netease is unbelievably successful with their knockoff games. These knockoff games do really. This game is already approved for launch in China as well. So they got this game is gonna be big in China. I have no doubt. I mean, you have the same building features that you have in Fortnite. The art style is identical. The way you find the weapons are the same. There's different tiers of weapons you can find randomly. This video is kind of slow, but you'll see eventually when you start shooting, building stuff. It's so similar. Like, and the resources are the same too. Like, it's the same concept.
It's amazing.
It's crazy.
It's amazing.
The hairstyle looks kind of similar too. Like, this is.
Yeah, that's the thing. They even made the main guy that you start as the same, like, short blonde hair white dude. Like, why couldn't they make that part different? Why?
Yeah, it's just weird. I feel like they really don't even know. Like, I feel like Chinese game designers. And I don't want to sound racist here, right? But like Chinese game designers, they don't know what makes a good game, right? They have no fucking idea how to make a game, but they do. So they copy Fortnite, right? And they don't. They're too afraid to change anything. They might think if they change that blonde guy, the short blonde guy's hair, the game might be a flop. They think maybe that's the reason Fortnite's successful. It's the default character model. So they copy everything.
Let's tie this into the OpenAI. You know how you're saying the AI doesn't know what it was doing? It's kind of just blindly following inputs and successful generations. Mm-hmm. That's the same with the Chinese development model. They don't actually know they're developing a game. They're just given zeros. They're given the source code. They hack the source code of like Fortnite. Okay, it's zeros and ones, and they just replicate it. They reverse engineering it without even realizing what they're doing, and so they end up creating the guy with the blonde hair, the same guy, the short blonde hair. They're just like
maybe
they're like robotic duplicators,
It's weird, man. They couldn't even change like some of the smaller features in the game, like because they don't know what works or not. They have no idea. So they're too afraid to change even the smallest things.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And exactly. Can I just restate what I said? It's just you see this a lot with these Netease clones, and Netease has done this a lot. They've copied Dead by Daylight. There's a literal Dead by Daylight clone as well, like identical to like the PC version in China, but it's for mobile. There's also the ripoff of Brawl Stars. Netease copies games all the time, and it's just really weird to see Blizzard, which is kind of like a powerhouse for Western gaming. Even if you don't like Blizzard games today, you have to kind of admit that Blizzard is pretty iconic, and they have some of the most interesting and valuable IPs in Western gaming. To partner with Netease to make your game is almost like shameful.
Yeah, you're showing no respect in yourself when you just give up to them.
Mm-hmm. Betrayal makes sense as well. Nagas asks, are any of these Chinese games better than the copy? Some of these Chinese games actually do run really well, like in terms of fluidity. I played a Chinese Overwatch clone recently, and it was actually not bad. It's pretty fun.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know
that. Okay, hold on. You telling me it was more fluid than Overwatch?
Hold on, I'll tell you. The drop mechanic when you're falling in art when was it Horizon? What was it called? Horizon something. Okay, Horizon Source. When you were dropping in Horizon Source, it was actually more fluid than PUBG and probably equivalent to Fortnite. All right, they had the falling animations down. All right, they do a good job ripping stuff off sometimes. All right.
All right, one more. I want to show you guys let's tie in a few components we talked about here. So Minecraft we talked about, user-generated content, and mods. Marcus does a lot of mods. I saw this video this week and I thought it was really cool. So it's ray tracing in Minecraft, added to Minecraft. So let's you guys to see this.
Looks really pretty.
Look at these beautiful Minecraft graphics, boys.
Wow, look at that water in Minecraft, boys. The 4K Minecraft water. Another reason Minecraft, by the way, is so successful is the user-created content. You know, all those modded servers. They have servers for Minecraft with like 20,000 plus players on a single server. Okay, they have like MMORPG server. There's so much custom shit for Minecraft. That's why the game is doing so well. There you go. Slane said it best, I think. Blizzard be like, fuck my wife, please. It just, because like Blizzard is clearly capable of making good games. Even Overwatch, I think, is a really good game. Like they know how to make games, but like, I guess they just they don't do the mobile. I guess they don't want to experiment. They're too afraid to experiment. I think as companies get bigger too, we've seen this a lot. I mean, this is a pretty common theme that when a company gets too big, they get like really slow at innovating and they don't want to take risks. Like if you look at Nintendo, Nintendo has been very slow to embrace mobile. They've been very slow to embrace a lot of big trends. And we've seen like, Blizzard's not doing any mobile games either. And League of Legends, Riot Games, they're like the most stagnant company ever. Like League has not changed that much since launch. Like even Dota 2, like has changed numerous times completely with completely revamped skills and talents and stuff. But League really hasn't changed that much from the time it launched. Yes, we have different talents, we have some minor changes, but it really hasn't changed that much. And Riot Games hasn't. It took Riot Games like 6 years to make a goddamn replay system. Yeah, you know? So like a lot of these big companies get very, very fat and lazy when they're making all this money. So maybe that's why they're too afraid to make mobile games. And NetEase is a beautiful position because NetEase, they don't need to innovate. NetEase is not in the business of innovating. They're in the business of copying everything. Okay, that's their business. So if you get fat and lazy, okay, on the top of your list, you look at the most popular games, you just copy them. There's no innovation required. You just copy whatever's working.
Indeed. Well, with that said, we have one Kickstarter game that's kind of making the small waves. This is not a big game.
All right, let's see it.
But it's worth mentioning. It's an MMORPG. So they have 15 days left to go.
MMORPGs funded on Kickstarter, boys. That's like there you go.
And they raised $13,000, which is not a lot, out of their $35,000 goal. So they don't seem to be on track so far to actually hit this goal. But let's watch this this trailer here. And what do you guys think? Is this gonna get funded?
New action combat sandbox MMORPG from Ready Up Studios. I see some red circles. You got dodge out of the red circles. Traditional action MMORPG gameplay. Whether you're playing Terra, whether you're playing Blade and Soul, that is the core of any action MMORPG. You stand outside the red circles. All right.
Yeah, it looks cute, right?
Yeah, it looks alright.
Like little.
This actually looks better than a lot of the Kickstarter MMORPG we've seen. Usually we look at really shitty Kickstarter games, so this already looks better than a lot of those.
Yeah, they weren't asking for a lot, but I think it's just like a couple guys making this. It's not like a studio or team, and I don't think they're gonna make it because usually Kickstarter seems to be front loaded, right? Like the first few days.
Yes, very front loaded.
Yeah, you make most of the money.
Yeah, but like at least get a hand to these guys. They didn't just come here with like some they didn't promise the world. They're not like, okay, guys, we're gonna make this deep MMORPG where the weather system affects the plants and what you know, depending on what soil you get, like depending on the soil nutrients, you get different potions from the plants that come out of there. You showed me this video with Chronicles of Illyria, and the guy was so delusional. They're talking about like soil samples depending on the weather. Depending on what plants you pull out at certain times, and if the soil was like stepped on or something, you get different yields on your potions and stuff. It was insane. Those guys are absolutely batshit crazy to think any of that's going to happen.
Yeah,
these guys like, clearly looks pretty straightforward. They're trying to do so. Good for them, trying to keep their vision narrowed. But that interview with the Chronicles of Illyria guy talking about soil and how it affects your output is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think they're losing the forest for the tree.
Yeah, they're so focused on like making one thing super in depth and ridiculous that the game is never going to come out. I don't know. I am not optimistic. I am way more optimistic on Master Creation. Even that I'm not optimistic on. But like that has much infinitely greater chance of coming out than Chronicles of Illyria. Chronicles of Illyria is just promising too much. They're trying to change it. They have no chance. If it was maybe like EA was trying to do that, or a BioWare with $100 million budget, yeah, maybe they could do something, you know. But like with how much they're trying to do with literally no. You know, the guy who made Chronicles of Illyria, the founder, has like no game development experience or design experience. You know, there's no chance.
Yep. Well, that's just wanted to bring that up, guys. This game is out there if you want to fund it or look into it more. It's called Oath.
I'm rooting for them. The game. Look, what you see here is like, look, the problem with a lot of these MMORPGs, it's very much like winner take all model, where the most popular MMORPGs get really popular and stay popular, and all the smaller MMORPGs just die because the player base isn't big enough to support them. This game looks functional. They clearly have made something already. You know, there's something here, okay? But I don't know if it's going to be enough. It's probably not going to be enough to like, you know, keep players on for a super long time. But they came to Kickstarter with something. There's some gameplay here, and if you like what you see and you want to support them, go for it.
Indeed. Any other specific news to talk about this week? I know PS5 got announced. I'm sure you all heard about that. A few surprises there. One, they actually are going with the third generation of the AMD Zen chip, which is a good. When the initial code number leaked, people were speculating it was going to be Zen Plus and not Zen 2. So it's good that it's Zen 2. 2, it's going to launch with SSD built in, which is amazing. That's like a one big fail point I felt of consoles this generation. They still launch with these shitty spinning discs, long load time, so that's good. And Node is going to come out in 2020, not 2019. Those are the big PS5 announcements.
All right, 2020 PS5 coming. As a PC gamer, not super excited. Maybe if they launch like a big Final Fantasy title, maybe I'll buy it for that. But like, there's got to be a big game to
I
pull
think
me
actually
there.
as a PC gamers, we should be excited because what I've learned, reluctantly had to admit to over the past few years, is any game, even the games that come out on PC, like Anthem, right, are kneecapped because they have to be designed for PS4, right? Not even PS4 Pro, PS4. They gotta run on PS4, and that really, really limits the things you can do in a game like Anthem. So I think one of the reasons Anthem is so, kneecapped is because of the restrictions placed on it by these old consoles now. So when a new console comes out,
true.
when EA, Ubisoft, whatever, BioWare, whatever, when they're developing games for that console, it's going to work a lot better on our PCs as well.
It'll be a net positive for PC because of that.
Yes.
We will not be bottlenecked by that anymore. All right, the only other news I had was Candy Crush had their best quarter ever, boys. $400 million they made. Candy Crush in the last 3 months made 400 millies.
And
good chunk of change for the Candy Crush.
Like you said, that's their best quarter ever. So this game is getting bigger and bigger. But there's one caveat. So this is the revenue for the Candy Crush franchise. Well, I don't know if you knew this, Amar, but Candy Crush is not one game. There's Candy Crush Soda Saga, Candy Crush Friends Saga, Candy Crush Jelly Saga. So a lot of sagas in the Candy Crush universe. Okay.
The Candy Crush franchise is booming. All right, it's popping.
Yes, Candy Crush Battle Royale is next, boys. You drop down.
Ooh, I like it. Do you see there's a real life battle royale going on? Tell me about that.
Oh, that's a good story. I'm glad you.
It's a fun one.
There's actually.
I vaguely heard about this, but I didn't read anything about it. So
some rich guy actually got in contact. There's apparently a website that it's called hushhush.com. It's a site where you organize weird things by rich people. And so some guy
weird sex things
probably sex things involved. Yes. So some rich guy is offering $130,000 prize for 100 people to come to a private island, and fight with airsoft rifles. So no one's gonna get
airsoft.
No one's gonna get killed.
It's an airsoft team, then.
It's airsoft, right? But the last man standing will get $130,000, and he's even paying $60,000 for someone called the Game Maker to organize it. Because he doesn't want to organize it. So,
hold on. So wait, why can't you just do this at a regular airsoft place? Why an island? This story just got lame. I want some blood.
There's no way. There's no way they can actually kill each other. But it's still
obviously.
Cool.
But what's the point of using Hush Hush website? You just post on Facebook. There's nothing illegal here. There's nothing contentious. There's nothing controversial. Some dude likes airsoft. And he wants to play some airsoft. And he wants to organize an event. Why is he using this Hush Hush website?
I don't know, bro.
I want a real battle royale.
Well, apparently he's a huge fan of the genre, so I think he just wants to replicate, the PUBG experience.
There was a more interesting story I think about some Russian multimillionaire. It was like some kind of battle royale and people were gonna die. And what was it? Let me see if I can find it again. I don't know. There was a real Rust-like experience. I think you had to go to Siberia and survive in the. You have a Rust-like experience to survive in in Siberia for 6 months if you make it. He said there's all these other teams and you shouldn't kill each other, but if you kill each other to survive, that's fine. He's you still qualify to win the prize or something. There's some real wonky story from a year ago. I forgot the details though.
Well, Survivor is not the same as Battle Royale because the enemy. You're actually the humans are working together against the environment, not fighting each other.
Oh, I can't find it.
Speaking of which, you know the Netflix Bandersnatch, that Black Mirror episode where you had some interactive Netflix shit going on. A new one came out this time by Bear Grylls. So he's on like some nature area, like an island or a desert, and he has to survive. And you got to make choices, like should I eat the beetle or not? That's actually out now. I haven't tried it yet, but it'd be something fun we should try.
All right, here's the nonsense article from Gizmodo that I was talking about before. I forgot the details. Let's take a look. It's probably not real.
Hunger Games style reality show.
It's definitely not going to be real.
No way. Yeah.
It's going to be bullshit.
It's bullshit, man.
The guy's name's on it, all right? It's always some Russian, all right? It's Kowalski.
To allow.
Whatever. Real talk. I'll tell you, if it's a battle royale, okay, and if you win $1 billion prize, would you enter, Altai?
No.
Okay. What about this? Your only competition, is middle schoolers. So you're like the full adult, and there's only melee weapons on the island.
How many middle schoolers?
There's you and there's 99 middle schoolers, and it's a free for all. Only one can win.
You know what? How big is the island? Am I gonna die to the elements?
No. You can find food crates and shit too. Okay, you get some meal ready to eat and shit. All right. There's some like.
How big is the island? Am I gonna be sleep deprived?
You might. It's other kids will be sleep deprived too. You're competing against the middle schoolers.
As I kill 20 middle schoolers, and I got it's like been 30 hours. I gotta sleep, and one of them just bashed my head in when I'm sleeping. So no.
Well, you better fucking hide when you go to sleep.
No,
I don't know.
I wouldn't do it. It's not worth it.
You wouldn't do it? You get $1 billion. Only middle schoolers.
If it's like 1 square mile, right? And I gotta kill 99 kids, fine.
Can you kill 99 kids in like fucking before you get tired?
Yeah, watch it. Sure, swing the bat 1 time each.
I don't know. Swing the bat, cracking those skulls can get you real tired. Get a real workout.
I'll take my chances.
So you wouldn't do it all day.
It's like a big island where I have to like traverse and rest and like eat and sleep and drink.
They're traversing and resting too.
It's stats. They're not all sleeping at the same time.
You as an adult, Altai, can have probably a better chance of finding food, climbing trees, doing all this shit than these middle schoolers.
Okay.
So the fact that it's a bigger island has a big advantage for you too.
I don't think so. I think it just lowers your stats.
All right, Altai wouldn't do it. Anybody in chat, would you do a battle royale against 99 middle schoolers? If you get $1 billion, if you win. She's a big ass 7th grader. They're random, so some of them will be girls, some will be dudes.
Have you seen this article, Omar?
I'd do it. YOLO. It'd be fun.
I feel so bad for the guy on the left.
This is a thing?
I feel so bad for the guy on the left.
Holy shit, this looks awesome.
I would not want to have a sleeping contest with this bear on the right.
Wait, wouldn't you just surrender as soon as the battle begins? Like, you look at this guy, holy fuck, I give up. I yield. Is this real?
Now this is an MMO.
Look at the video. There's a video.
Oh, here we go.
There's a video. What the fuck? I turned this shit down. Audio's too loud.
Yeah, I turned it down. He got wrecked. This guy got wrecked.
The slapping. The championship winner walked away with a prize of $470. Whoa, he can buy like the latest Razer headphone and mouse and keyboard with that set.
All right, guys. I think we're veering off.
It's a professional sport.
Listen,
all
we're
right.
veering off course here. That means we're gonna move to the post game more, unless you have anything else.
All right.
No. Okay. So stick around for the post game for more of this kind of stuff. And
all right, thanks for watching for YouTube.
Take care.
All right. I still maintain, boys, if the Olympics had